you hard work, and the God helped you. If the God not helped you, your work is nothing.
Greetings, Oivera individuals. Welcome to another Apscott podcast. This episode 33, we're going to talk about why Africa is great. Specifically, we're going to talk about the runner Haile Gebre Selassie Lion. Now, who's Haile Gebre Selassie? Well, he's named after Haile Selassie I, Emperor of Ethiopia, last Emperor of Ethiopia. And he's one of the greatest Olympic athletic runners of all time. He's won 13 golds in different fields like the 10,000 meters and 5,000 meters, and he's regarded as one of Ethiopia's greatest runners, inspiring future generations like Kenenisa Bekele. He grew up in a farm and he was put to the test, especially growing up in a poor background, humble background, and he would have to tend to the farm and help out with his father around the farm and his mother too. He was one of 10 siblings and he would have to run 6 miles all the way to school, which is quite crazy now because nowadays, most people get a car to school, bus to school, but he had to run 6 miles to school and he would often be late. I believe that this is where he started to develop his love for running, as he had to run everywhere. He even had to run to fetch for water, and he had to even tend to the donkeys and all the animals on the farm at a very, very young age, because he had to help his mom and dad out. But I believe that this actually helped him to build his resilience in life, especially when on the track. As you can see here, he had to learn how to tend to donkeys, had to get them to move the way he wanted to move. But his father, who's shown here, wasn't very fond of his running. He would always ask why is he always running all the time. But this did not deter Haile Gebre Selassie as he continued to run, and eventually he was picked up by a trainer who then gave him pass to move all the way to Addis Ababa to live with his brother. And through this, he was able to train for 2 years before really entering professionally. His love for running really came from watching Abebe Bikila, who was another Olympic runner who won a gold medal twice at the Olympics for long distance running, and he would run barefoot. And he listened to this on the radio, and when he saw how people would venerate Abebe Bikila and talk about him and just revere him, Haile Gebre Selassie saw this as what he really wanted to do, to become a runner. And he kept to that vision and that dream, and his main objective was to become the greatest runner of all time, Haile Gebre Selassie. And he achieved that dream, but it wasn't easy. It came with a lot of pain, sweat, tears. For example, during the Atlanta Olympics in the 90s, when running for hours in Atlanta and the weather was humid, a bit of his skin ripped off of his toe. And this was really bad, as it lowered his chances of winning at the Olympics. But he still decided to run anyway. The officials didn't mind, they said it was fine for him to run. But he never told any of the rivals that he had something with his legs, as that would give them a psychological advantage. And while running, he had to sustain and hold in all that pain for the full 10,000 meters. And it definitely was not easy running 10,000 meters with so much pain, but he kept pushing. Even when you watch some of the videos, you can see him clearly under extreme pain. But he still managed to pull through and win, which is incredibly inspiring. And it just shows you that in order to win, you need to keep pushing forward no matter what. The goal line is in front, not behind, not at the side either. The goal line won't come closer to you if you take a break. You have to keep pushing forward, which is what Haile Gebre Selassie really showed through his character and on the track. And many Ethiopians looked up to him, to the fact that he even has a street named by him in Addis Ababa. And he's a household name in Ethiopia, and he's basically made it on the track. And after the track, he then went on to marathon running, and he continued to do well, beating many world records. I think he's beaten like 26 world records. Incredible. 13 gold medals, many bronze, many silvers. It's great that he has more gold than silvers and bronze, but it just shows the hard-working talent and drive that definitely came, in my opinion, from his humble, poor background at the farm, working day and night every single day, not really having any time for breaks. A humble background is definitely a building block to success. As myself, I grew up in that type of background, but I didn't use that as a reason for me to fall back and not push forward. I used that as a reason to succeed. And as you can see here, Haile has gotten involved in many businesses after the track, and he made a lot of money and gave a lot of jobs to many Ethiopians. Even there's Mile Run here in Ethiopia that they do constantly. This was all started because of one boy who was able to use his talent, his drive, and his experiences to inspire many generations in the future, and people like myself too. And by knowing this, it will allow us to have a strong, tough, and determined identity as Afro Scots.